In 1980, China was poorer than Jamaica. Today, it rivals the United States. How does a communist country build more billionaires than any democracy on earth? How does farmland become the world's most valuable real estate in one lifetime? In 1980, China's economy was worth $300 billion. Today, it's nearly $19 trillion. Per person, income rose from $195 to over $13,000. Factories, highways, skylines, as if the entire nation learned how to print growth without printing money. But every miracle has a price, and this one is still being counted. The story begins with one sentence. Deng Xiaoping looked at a starving economy and said, "Let some people get rich first." It was permission to dream. Factories bloomed along the coast, foreign investors rushed in. Shenzhen, a fishing village of 30,000, now holds 17 million. In 1980, only 20% of Chinese lived in cities. Today, nearly 67% do. 900 million people who traded farms for futures. The West mocked it as capitalism with Chinese characteristics. But inside China, it was survival re-engineered. The West built on capital markets. China built on land. All urban land belongs to the state. Local governments lease it to developers for 70 years, turning soil into cash flow. Each sale funded roads, rails, and airports. By 2023, land deals still made up almost 30% of local government revenue. The more they sold, the more they could build. And the more they built, the richer the land became. A perfect feedback loop. It wasn't Wall Street, it was Ground Street. While Washington debated budgets, Beijing mobilized savings. Chinese households saved 40% of their income, 4 times the US rate. Those savings fuel state banks. Those banks fund cities, factories, and the fastest rail system on Earth. In 16 years, China built 48,000 kilometers of high-speed rail, 70% of the global total. The US? None. When discipline replaces debt, speed becomes a habit. Meet Mr. Li. In 1980, he earned $12 a month harvesting rice. Today, his grandson codes apps in Shenzhen and drives an electric car. 2 generations, same soil, different century. Between them lies China's true miracle. Bricks became banks. Homes turned into savings accounts, dowries, and retirements. By 2020, 90% of families owned property, the highest rate on Earth. For Mr. Li, wealth was owning land. For his grandson, it's owning time. How do you make prices rise forever? You control the land, release less land, and prices climb. Higher prices mean bigger lease revenue. Bigger revenue funds more projects, and more projects lift GDP and land values again. It was a loop that turned policy into profit. By 2021, property fueled nearly 30% of China's GDP. Western critics called it a Ponzi of concrete. Beijing called it planning. Both were right. In 1980, the U.S. economy produced about $12,500 per person. China, about $195. Today, the U.S. is near $80,000 to $85,000, and China is around $13,000. The gap remains, but the direction changed everything. The West builds wealth on innovation. China builds it on execution. One perfects ideas, the other perfects scale. Each looks across the ocean and sees what it's missing. Innovation versus execution, 2 systems, 1 race. But every miracle carries a debt. Developers borrowed too much. Local governments pledged the same land twice. Debt swelled beyond $12 trillion. When sales slowed, the money printer jammed and confidence cracked with the concrete. Land revenues collapsed 25%. Investments plunged double digits, and the skyline of triumph turned ghost gray. Western economists say China's boom was a debt-driven illusion. They warn, growth by decree can't last forever. Beijing replies, we built in 40 years what took you 150. Inside China, the debate splits the nation. Too much concrete, not enough creativity, or solid foundations before innovation. History may judge it as speed versus sustainability, the century's defining trade-off. China's next miracle won't be built by cranes, but by code, from steel to silicon, from property to AI, from concrete to cloud. But creativity can't be commanded. You can build a city in a year, not a culture of innovation. Meanwhile, the West asks, can democracies move fast enough to compete in the new race, speed versus freedom? China's rise isn't magic. It's math, multiplied by belief. It proves what happens when a billion people move in one direction, but it also warns. Money trapped in walls can't buy the future, only ideas can. The West dreams of speed. China dreams of stability. Maybe the next era belongs to those who learn both, to save like the East and invest like the West. Wealth once came from land, now it comes from ideas. Start early, think sharp, learn right. That's your clear path.